In this video, I'm going to give you 10 tips that will help you win more games in Smite 2. We'll start off with some short and simple advice, and then later in the video I'm going to go a bit more in depth into some of the new game mechanics and how you can use them to your advantage. Whether you're new to the game or an already experienced player, I guarantee you will learn something from this video. The first thing I want to go over are a few settings that will instantly improve your aim and user experience. Under gameplay, change your casting mode from default to quick. This makes it so your ability will fire on release instead of having to press a second input. Under UI, change your item store layout to left aligned and also make sure to allow movement while in menus. These settings make it so the shop doesn't block your view or restrict your ability to move around. The final setting I want to mention is under the video tab, and it's called reflection method. If you're having issues running the game, turning this off can give a big boost to performance. Alright, next up, let's talk about portals. In Smite 2, your base contains 3 portals that can teleport you to each of the lanes. You can cancel the teleport early by right-clicking as you travel. Also, to easily know how long your portal cooldown has remaining, you can check the far right side of your buff bar where you will see portal sickness. There are also 2 teleporters at the top and bottom of each side lane, which can transport you to the opposite side of the map. These portals have a separate cooldown from the ones in base and are very useful for making quick rotations throughout the match. Tip number 3, utilizing bushes. Around the map there are now several bushes that grant stealth when you enter. You can use these to pick up some easy kills by hiding around and setting up an ambush. I'd also advise that you place wards in bushes whenever you can to avoid getting jumped by the enemy. Now I want to talk about items. Itemization has changed quite a bit in Smite 2, and you can now pick up smaller components to build stats prior to finishing the full item. Let me give you a few examples to help you do this optimally. If I'm building Devourer's Gauntlet first item, it's probably much better to start off by going into Skegox rather than Adamantine Sickle because it has 15 more strength on it. Let's say later in the game I want to buy Heartseeker. 10% pen is almost always going to be more damage than 15 strength, so I'd start off by building Void Shard instead of Infused Axe. This new item system is much more flexible and allows you to fully customize your build to get the maximum amount of value from your gold each time you back. There are also now a variety of active items that you can pick up in the shop. These items function similar to relics and give you new skills which can be used every so often depending on its cooldown. You can have up to 3 actives in your build, which essentially gives you 3 extra spells to use in combat. This can add some really valuable utility to your kit, like an extra dash, an AoE heal, and there's even one that straight up turns you invisible. I recommend changing your keybinds from the default to whatever you're more comfortable with. I'm using G, E, and R for my actives, but if you've got any extra mouse buttons, those could be a good option, or anything that feels easy for you. Active items are super strong, so you definitely want to get into the habit of using them. Now I want to talk about scaling. Smite 1 kinda had a hard cap on how strong your character could get throughout the match. Sure, some gods were better late game than others, but they still hit a hard wall eventually. Now in Smite 2, there are several ways to continue scaling in strength throughout the match. For one, they've added several luxury items to the shop, which cost a high amount of gold but give insane stats and effects in return. You can also now stack the 3k gold power pots on top of themselves, and since there's no cap to stats in Smite 2, your character will continue to scale infinitely until the game ends. This means that there is now more reason than ever to hold out until late game and see if your team comp matches up better once everyone's completed their build. Seriously, I have seen so many games where one team was down 10,000 or more gold and all it took was one throw to completely turn the tides. This brings me to my next tip, which is objectives. Objectives are more important in Smite 2 than ever before. Both the Fire Giant and Gold Fury have been given unique rewards to increase their value. The Gold Fury now grants a permanent buff for the rest of the game, depending on how many times your team has defeated her. Additionally, after she's been slain 3 times by either team, she transforms into the Ancient Fury, which weakens the enemy structures if you take her down. The Fire Giant still grants a large power and regen buff, but each time he is defeated, the amount of power he grants is increased. He also now drops the Obsidian Dagger, which is a consumable that can be used to grant some insane effects. It deals 500 true damage to the user and grants them 15% increased damage and attack speed for the duration. If the damage would kill the user, they are instead revived to full HP and still receive the buff. This thing is absolutely insane and so much fun to use when you're able to get it right. There are also 2 mini-bosses in the jungle. The Queen Naga roams around the map and drops a crystalline egg when defeated. This egg can be used to spawn 2 Naga soldiers, which are a huge help when going for the other objectives. Pyromancer is still the same as he was in Smite 1. He drops a runic bomb that deals 1000 true damage to jungle monsters or enemy structures and reduces their attack speed by 35%. Speaking of structures, towers are also more valuable now. Each tower's health is divided into segments, separated by a marker on their health bar. Reducing a tower's health bar segment will cause it to drop 2 gold bounties that players can pick up. In addition to opening up the map, this change means that early game pressure on towers is more rewarded. Another huge tip that will definitely help you win more games is to play through your winning lanes. Often a lane will fall behind and the rest of the team scrambles to try and help them, but it's important to know when something is a lost cause. It's often better to put pressure where your team is ahead and force objectives around your strongest players. If you're the lane that's winning, the greatest part of having a lead is being able to extend that to the rest of the map, so try and show up to fights and make an impact. Tip 9. Play other game modes. Conquest is the most competitive mode of Smite and takes a lot of time and practice to master. Other game modes can help you build skills and experience, which then carry over and make you a better Conquest player. For example, I like to play Duel to help train mechanics and build confidence when taking 1v1 fights. Even the more casual game modes like Assault and Arena can help you learn and are a great place to practice team fighting. It's also just fun to switch it up and relax sometimes when Conquest gets tiring. And the last tip might sound cheesy, but it really is essential to improving. Have fun. Keep in mind that failure is a part of any competitive game. Things won't always go your way, and that's fine. Even the best players make mistakes. Remember, it's not win or lose, it's win or learn. And that's it. If you want to see 10 more tips that will help you improve, go check out this video. And if you learned something from this one, please like and share. Thanks for watching.